Today is 116 day.
Loreseekers.
Alright, welcome back to the channel. We are going to be going over everything that we learned yesterday about the new map, the tomb, as well as everything detailed in the blog, as well as our thoughts on the map, predictions, theories, what have you. The tomb arrives in Season 2. After surviving the horrific events at Citadel Daymore, Weaver, Gray, Carver, and Maya follow Gabriel Craft's final words to a nearby excavation site to secure the Sentinel artifact. Built on the remains of an ancient burial ground with suspected origins dating back to 2500 BC. These catacombs were undisturbed for centuries until the early 1900s, and what lies beneath may run deeper than anyone ever imagined. As rumors have it, a British archaeologist by the name of Sir Archibald Fothergill conducted an excavation at the site back in 1908 with grand expectations, although no one can say for sure what became of him. A handful of photographs from his doomed expedition have recently surfaced, and that's what they give us in terms of like narrative stuff for the map so far.
Yep.
And with that, they also gave us a ton of teasers for the map already. The map itself releases January 28th, which is way earlier than I think anyone expected.
Yeah. The first image that we see in the blog post is going to be very familiar to a lot of MWZ fans. The whole three of them, aka just us.
There's a triangular gateway that has the circular patterns we saw in Citadel Daymore on the crazy place looking boss fight arena. Which that is interesting because, like you said, it looks like the MWZ stuff, like the talismans that open up the gateways to the Dark Ether in that game.
Yep.
What's interesting about this is these are clearly doorway looking things, and what we know about the circular looking pattern back in Aether, they basically, you would put these on the stones and you'd run energy through them and they make their stones perform certain tasks. And in this case, it seems to be portal. It powers a portal or gateway. Caption for this teaser reads, Marjorie, you would simply not believe this place. Dashed pyramids can go check a jump in a lake.
I haven't considered doing like the world's most cartoonish fake British accent for that, but you spared me from it, Claude.
Thank God. Thank God. I mean, the first image just shows us about some MWZ stuff in the portal and gateway, a few crazy place stuff. The second image is where some of the sauce is.
So in this image, instead of a triangular gateway, you have a circular one. And what's interesting about this one is in front of it you have an altar, which in my opinion, it reminds me of like the Shadows of Evil altars, like where you did the ritual. So I think probably we're gonna have to do like a ritual and it opens the gateway or powers it.
Yeah, I could definitely see it.
Even right next to it, you can see a little tablet that has a little light on it, which can maybe mean or like tell you that, hey, you did this amount of rituals to open this gateway, you got this one done, or this is the place you need to go. Kind of like how there was a big map up top the dragon in Citadel that tells you where you need to go for those fire places.
Yeah. Very it looks like that one too, like the one above the dragon. But yeah, these images give us a really good feel for what the map's going to be like. Most of the map looks like it's going to take place underground.
If I recall correctly, the Citadel Intel had a photograph of the above ground area as well, so I can see that being like the starting area.
Yeah. Before we move on, the text for this teaser reads, This sight blithering will doth both baffle and amuse. I suppose I shall have to thank Alistair for more than just the contents of his cellar. Which is
a night reference?
Yep, Deadly Night reference. Wine cellar.
That's like the 10th Chaos reference so far. I think it's safe to say the stories are truly connected. Insert the clip of Blundell saying they're not connected.
Are the two stories connected in any way? Is it a clean break?
They are not connected. They're not connected. They're not connected anyway. They are two separate stories completely. So no one believes me, by the way.
One of the last things for the blog itself, we got the a little bit of a tease for the OST for the map. The last couple songs for this game, Kevin's been getting singers from different bands, and this time it looks like it's going to be Trivium.
He's collecting people from bands he likes.
True. Bob is familiar with this band. The only song I know from them, and it's one of my favorites, is the Heart From Your Hate, but I'm sure Bob has his choices.
I've actually...
I'm somewhat familiar with them.
Yeah, I've never actually heard of this band, but just listen to the snippet, it sounds okay. I might like it.
Yeah, I think the songs have been a pretty big high point for this game so far, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they cook with this map.
Moving on over to Treyarch's Twitter account, we got this video showing some sand moving across the screen that reveals our next teaser, which reads, Here in this vast natural cavern, a Neolithic temple constructed to honor long-forgotten gods. Now this is interesting because this, I would say, is at the very bottom of the map, like the lowest section you can go to, it looks like, in my opinion. Probably one of the more important areas of the map too, because it looks like the crazy place. with the pillars and whatnot.
Yeah, which I'd imagine is probably an intentional connection, given, just some of the other stuff they've done, and something we'll get to later with how they've teased the wonder weapons.
Yeah, long forgotten gods reminds me obviously of the chaos gods, also of the Daedalon stuff we got a lot forever ago about Cortifex and Skeleton. This seems like it'd be the perfect place to fit that stuff into the map.
Yeah, for sure.
Zaikov's Cortifex-shaped stomach.
I could definitely see this map being where they explain what the connection or lack thereof between the Chaos Gods and like the old ones is, because that's been kind of like a great point so far in this game.
Yeah, for sure. Especially since we got all that stuff with Weaver's jail cell in the cinematic for Terminus, but like there's been nothing since. Like we had the Elder Sigil, we had the Yellow King marker, and the Construct, but there's been nothing of it since. There's been some stuff that seemed like they imply he's getting that stuff through his dreams, like all the old ones and whatnot. So it'll be interesting to see if this map brings that to the forefront.
Yeah,
possibly true. Big if true, actually. If we just get anything in this map, we win. The last teaser that they showed off.
Alright, our last teaser caption reads, "The tomb of the self-proclaimed god Opatus. This place finds way to humble even the omnipotent." By the way, if you wonder why I'm slurring my words, I'm on drugs.
Oh,
he uses the Patreon money to buy crack.
Oh, fuck.
Evidence of occupation by a much later culture, which makes sense with what we were saying. Like, it seems a lot of the architecture here looks like it's Roman in nature.
Yeah. It makes sense if this is like a site that like a bunch of different like cultures and civilizations like end up finding over the centuries.
Yeah, it's like a layered thing where like it starts off 2500 BC, but like over time, all these cultures are found, and like maybe they started to worship their own gods at the site, which seems to be the case because you have the tomb of this dude Opatus. Interestingly enough, the name of this guy, it translates to like the chosen one, pretty much, or chosen, desired. Another interesting bit here is it mentions the cult of Mithrath, and I almost made a tweet about this yesterday because I was having a conversation with my friend. He knows more about this, like the history of Europe, right? He brought up like, oh, there's a depiction of a bull in the back, which if you see like the images from yesterday, there is in like what I would say appears to be like the spawn room area where it shows like the statue of the owl.
Yeah.
And that's heavily associated with this Mithras character.
Pulling up the Wikipedia page on Mithra, the cult of Mithra in general and stuff. And there's like multiple different interpretation of their own culture anyway. So I'm sure giving it a bit of a read before you head into the map might help you with something. I mean, I don't think them just mentioning the cult of Mithra randomly and having it be a part of the map.
There was something earlier someone brought up in the Discord. Let me see if I can find it. It says, "The seventh gate, and through the final gateway we transform. The world's dualities unite as one. Celebrate this transition, do not mourn. The separation between us undone." Dualities and transitions. Where have we heard that before?
Reminds me of something.
Makes you think, does it not?
Really makes you think.
I feel like no matter how far we go into any story, those themes are something that will always be there, man. They love that shit.
Yep.
They love it. They really love it.
Yeah, that definitely corroborates the Roman stuff. Cult of Mithrath was a Roman mystery religion centered on the god Mithras. I'm mispronouncing the shit out of that, but it is what it is.
We don't care. We here at COD Lore Facts don't care about your culture. I'm joking. Where do we go from here, dude? I'm honestly lost. I don't know where we go from here. I feel like
where are we going from here? Bob of the Dead?
Alright, we ran out of stuff to talk about with the blog.
Nothing ever happens.
Talk about the theory stuff?
Yeah.
Let's just go into the theory segment.
Map predictions. Do map predictions. I've talked about my map predictions to you two a lot, I feel like, but maybe not to the audience. I think this map, since we got a little bit of it trickled in here with Citadel, with the doubt cast on S.A.M by the crew, namely Carver, I feel like we're probably going to get double-crossed by S.A.M in this map, like bluntly, and it'll probably culminate in Panos showing up, because we know in Liberty Falls that he went off to find whoever's friends, which we're presuming is the Terminus crew.
Alright.
And we also know that at some point the story has to get to 1993, because that's when Ava Jansen gets created. And so far, we're not anywhere near close to 1993 in the story.
Yeah. we gotta get to 93 and then 96 at some point. And so,
Yeah.
if that's this map, that implies probably that the results of the double cross could be catastrophic for our crew. Like, it could take them years to recover.
Assuming they go into the dark ether or something like that, or I don't know. It's hard to imagine that the double cross would do that many years to them. Like
them going into the dark ether could also factor into how it's seemingly implied they're like fucked up from Ethereum exposure in MWZ, and that's part of the reason they go to the basement in Urzikstan.
But yes, generally I think Panos will probably show up, steal the Sentinel artifact last second, probably take it back to West Virginia for whatever he's going to do with it. I feel like he's probably getting used by S.A.M. I don't think Panos is necessarily a bad guy. I feel like he's probably getting used by S.A.M. same way we are. And who knows where that'll go, but for this map, he shows up, takes the artifact. That's catastrophic for our crew, potentially. And
yeah, and then leaves them in a state where it like takes a while for them to get back to doing their thing.
Yeah, exactly. So this could be like a big climactic moment for this game's plot.
Yeah, essentially a sort of a structure where it's like we have the Avalon maps, and then there's like a time gap, and then there's like, I don't know. I mean, the other map locations they've set up so far are all in West Virginia, so I assume like the next act would be like going back there for a few maps.
Don't you mean they're in Georgia?
Oh yeah, true. I forgot this. I was only thinking of the second gen towers that they set up inexplicably for no reason. West Virginia.
The other towers and the other town that Eddie took over that we never heard about.
They actually took over a second town that they never talk about. Real lore heads know this.
It turns out it's really easy to take over a town secretly. He can do it numerous times.
Yeah, I've done it before.
Bob is a convicted criminal, possibly.
No. It's actually really easy. You just have to ask him really nicely. Ooh. And they'll just let you take over the town and put your evil buildings there.
Yeah.
Oh, here's my personal prediction on what might happen for the tomb. I got a feeling that this might be where we get the setup that Ravenov is going to be like this immortal person, because with the end of Citadel, we still don't know how Kraft is able to just live like that. He's just there.
Yeah.
How did he do it?
I will point out that we still have that setup, which we've discussed before, where like MWZ for whatever reason makes a really weirdly big thing out of the fact that he could still like fight zombies and stuff in like his 70s.
Yeah.
Like half the radios in that game are people talking about it, and it makes its way into like one of the cutscenes.
Yeah, so it's like, I think it's got to do with something, because it's not Ethereum, right? Ethereum just kills you immediately, right? Or like
turns you into a zombie or other assorted creature.
Yeah, and we saw like all of our guys literally melting in real time, and they're like, guys, we were not gonna be able to live longer in that MWZ cutscene. So they apparently chose Ravenov or whatever that meant, and I don't know. Maybe, possibly the Sentinel artifact, his exposure to it is just enough for him to be immortal. Possible.
It's possible.
Or like long living. So I feel like maybe he's the first person to interact with it in the ending cutscene, and then Panos shows up and steals it.
I think it's certainly possible.
Yeah, another little like with the Ravenov and immortality thing. This might not be anything at all, but I have noticed that it like you have these little like narrative, environmental storytelling beats sometimes, right? And in Citadel, there's these like syringes filled with like green. I would call it Ethereum. We've never seen green Ethereum, but it looks mystical almost, and like there's like drugs like the Syndicate's making. So I wonder if that could be a part of it in some regard.
Honestly, maybe it's something with the owl, because let's remember at the same time, there's been a lot of mystery surrounding this owl guy, right, and his 4 bastard sons. Surprised we haven't seen
his 4 stupid chud sons that he hates.
Real. We still haven't gotten any teasers about those sons so far in the tomb, and if they're doing like a rehashed kind of origins type thing, you'd think there would be a mention of the sun, so maybe when we go in there we'll actually be able to see it, or who knows, maybe it won't be anything like that at all. Either way,
just to add on, I think probably the sons are probably buried here. I mean, the map's called the Tomb, like with the artwork for the map, you have those 4 schools, 5 technically, but you can say one of them's the Opatus or the Owl, whatever. We also put out the other day a tweet that we got roasted for, speculating that the bastard could be the new form of Premise, which had been leaked.
Which, to be fair, that I don't even think that was your theory originally.
It wasn't. I've just seen people talk about it. Personally, I believe it. It adds up.
You stole TGR's theory. Broad lore facts exposed again. I mean, they killed you for it. I wasn't here for that. I was all
shout out to TGR.
Collab soon, potentially. I know he said on Twitter whenever I asked, he said he was down to do it.
We're collecting friends of a channel.
Yeah. Soon we're gonna have all of us, everyone in the COD Zombies community is gonna be our friend. But real quick to like talk actually about the owl. I mean, he could be also immortal himself, or like he lived a long time. I saw a few people making out theories that maybe, you know, the reason for his insane kind of legacy is the fact that he was able to time travel or something along those lines. So
I don't know if it'll be direct time travel, but I could definitely see them connecting like the age longevity thing.
With the owl immortality thing, something interesting. So in alchemy, you have the concept of the full officer stone is a thing in alchemy, and I think you get it here somewhat with the doors, because you have the triangular door and you have the circular door. Well, those symbols line up to like, it's like this symbol of the stone, and it's theorized that you could use this stone to make the elixir of life, which is immortality. So that ties into the owl, Ravenel potentially,